John Luss here of Luss Archery Adventures. Serious testing, successful hunting. Today I'm going to be testing a new head by Nomad. Nomad comes out of Australia, and a while back, it was like a year or two ago, I tested their original one, their 3-blade as well as their 2-blade that came out. Now they've come out with a smaller 3-blade, and it's made out of a different steel, so I'm eager to put it to the test. And for the test, I'm going to be using my regimen for 2026. For a detailed description of that, please watch the short video I posted earlier this year called 2026 Broadhead Test Process, and it'll walk you through all the behind the scenes of the tests that I'm doing, why I'm doing them, how I quantify them, and so forth. And for most of the shooting, I'm using my Elite Eon Compound bow, 26.5-inch draw, and 62 pounds. I'm using Bishop Archery arrows at 450 grains, and I'm also using my new Ravin LR XBow at 450 feet per second. Okay, let's zoom on in here, check out this new head by Nomad, and then put it to the test. Here's a good look at this smaller Nomad. I say smaller because the one I tested previously had a little bit wider cut, and now they've decreased the cut size and also changed the material. This one's made out of D2 steel, which is a really good quality steel. They also make one out of stainless steel that's a little bit less expensive, but they wanted to improve the durability, so they made it out of this D2 steel, and it's machined out of a single chunk of that. The dimensions are 1 1/32 inches of cutting diameter, okay, and 3 blades, so 1.03 inches of cutting diameter. Now the blades are 0.080 inches, really thick at their thickest point there. I don't know if you can make that out, yeah. And they've got a wedge shape to them where they're narrower at the tip, and then they expand as they go back to really get the true application of that advantage there, that ramp advantage to aid in penetration and in splitting of bones. The bevels are, this is single bevel sharpened all the way around, even on the back, and the angle there is increased from what it was. The original version was an 18 degree, now this is 21 degree. When you have a gradual bevel, they get pretty thin, and with a single bevel rotation, that edge can be prone to chattering. It's not as strong as a steeper bevel would be, but it's got a really unique wing blade design to it that's going to aid in flight from what they say, as well as creating a wicked wound channel. This is what it looks like from the top, and you can see that blade wing to it and the thickness of the blades. You can see it really well and see how that's just going to be pretty cool in the wound channel it creates. The price of these comes out to $31.33 in US dollars. They come from Australia, but in US dollars, $31.33 per head. That's in the D2. In the stainless steel will be a bit less expensive. I'm not sure what the price of that will be, but really looking forward to putting this head to the test and seeing how it performs. With my Elite Compound bow at 45 yards, it got the 9 ring. And just so you know, that's a 2-inch bullseye. And with the Ravin at 45 yards, it got the 10 ring. The flight noise was rated as an 8.53 on a 10-point scale, whereas a field point is a perfect 10 on a 10-point scale. It took 126 grams of force to cut through the wire, which is a 10 on a 10-point scale, plus a proportional bonus of 0.74 for being under the threshold of 200. It penetrated 8.5 inches, which is a 9.44 on a 10-point scale. It took an additional 55 grams of force to cut through the wire, which is an 8.9 on a 10-point scale, and it'll get an additional bonus of 2 points for both the sharpness and the edge retention being under the threshold of 200. It penetrated through 69 layers, which is a 9.86 on a 10-point scale. It rotated 15 degrees at 10 inches, and you get a little bit less rotation due to that more gradual bevel, as I explained earlier. The head's in excellent shape after the 3 shots through the MDF. And here it is after the 2 shots through the sheet of steel. You can see on the good side, it stayed together. It's not like a blade didn't shear off or the ferrule didn't break or anything like that. And it made really cool looking holes. Nice triangular cutout with a good single beveled twist to it. That'll make a nice wound channel. On the negative side, you can see it experienced quite a bit of edge chatter. And that's what happens with a single bevel where there's a pretty gradual bevel angle. The blades are sharper, but they're not as durable on a hard impact like that. Here it is after all the durability testing. Did perfect in the MDF. Through the steel plate, got quite a bit of edge chatter. The blades kind of got like they're serrated afterwards. And but structurally it held together well. And then into the cinder block, you can see it broke off. Chunks of the blade broke off. It rotated, and it's pretty thin there at the point. And with that rotation, it just couldn't handle it. But overall, the body of it stayed intact, but it certainly did experience a bit of damage there in the process. So what'd you think? Man, there's a lot to like about this head. There's a lot going on and some really creative features to it. And maybe it's something that might resonate with you. So you check out the score sheet and see how it performed in the areas that matter to you the most and see if it might be a good fit for you. And stay tuned for the summary of the score sheet. You can find the details of all the scores of this head in the video description, as well as a link to an Excel spreadsheet with all the data, all the scores of every test I've done, of every broadhead I've tested for the last several years, also in the video description. But in just a minute, I'll put up a slide that shows the summary of that score for this Nomad broadhead, as well as the overall cumulative score and the corresponding Lusk grade. And also stay tuned for a list of all the discount codes that I can offer just to help you save some money in the field. Look forward to seeing you next time.